Okay, hello everyone. Hope everyone is very well. Today, what I want to do is to go through the first text from the Year 2 fashion reading book. It is How Social Media Transformed Fashion in the 2010s by Steph Yotka from July 2019 in Vogue magazine. What I'm going to do is to go through the text paragraph by paragraph, sentence by sentence. I'm going to explain some things in it, but more importantly, what I'm going to do is to show you how you can use an article like this to start researching different information that is in the article and to find out more about very important things in the fashion industry. I hope it will be useful and interesting for you. Okay, so let's get started. So, the introduction, paragraph 1. Nowadays, in the fashion world, success is no longer judged only by design merit, innovation, or sales figures. Okay, that's fairly easy. So, success, design merit just means how good is the design. Innovation, creativity, or sales figures. Okay, so they're saying these things are not anymore the most important things. Okay. Success also depends on social media impressions, fan engagement, and the list index. Okay, so these are other factors that are also important now. What people think about your fashion brand on social media. Fan engagement means how much fans are really enthusiastic and interested in your brand. And the list index we will talk about more in a minute. List index tracks the labels that appeal to millennials and Gen Z consumers. Okay, again, we'll have a little bit more information about these in a minute. Again, when you are reading something like this and you see something like millennials and Gen Z, you should be saying, okay, that's interesting. What are those words? I need to find out. In a minute, we will show you. The most popular brand of 2018, according to Google's trending data, was Fashion Nova, which has never held a fashion show. Okay, again, that should be something that is quite interesting to us. So let's have a look. Again, let's look first of all at this, the list index. Again, this comes out every quarter. It gives a list, you can see here. It's a quarterly ranking of fashion's hottest brands and products. Okay, global fashion search platform. List analyzes the online shopping behavior of more than 5 million shoppers a month. So that's a very interesting thing to see what are the most popular global fashion brands. So that's something that all our fashion students should be looking at and should be familiar with. Millennials is an interesting concept, okay? Millennials, let's look here. Again, remember what I told you before about Wikipedia. Now, when you do your research essays and things like that, of course, you should not use Wikipedia as a source because it's just not good practice, really. But when you just want to find out information about something simple, just to find out what is it, what does it mean, Wikipedia is a wonderful resource. It's a great place to find out simple information. And then if you want to do proper research for an academic essay, you can use different websites, but this gives you the basic idea. So millennials, also known as Generation Y. Generation Y. So what do we have? Millennials, also known as Generation Y or simply Gen Y, are the demographic cohort. That means the group of people after following Generation X and before Generation Z. Most of you fashion students are Generation Z. So basically, if you were born between, early 1980s and the mid 1990s to the early 2000s, then, basically 1981 to 1996 is basically a millennial. Okay, so that's an interesting thing. Again, there is another thing in Wikipedia which is very useful for you too. It's called simple.wikipedia.org. If your reading is not so good, you can maybe try this site, and they have some even simpler explanations of many topics. So here, Generation Y, also known as millennials, is the group of people born between 1981 to 1996. Generation Y is preceded by Generation X and succeeded by Generation Z. sometimes called echo boomers because of the high birth rate. Here's some of the famous celebrities: Harry Styles, Katy Perry, Lady Gaga, Kate Bosworth, Justin Bieber, Miley Cyrus. Okay, so you find a little bit about this topic. Fashion Nova was mentioned there. Okay, again, and we say, all right, we are very interested in the fashion industry. What is this Fashion Nova? And again, we can see it's an American-based fast fashion retail company. Okay, the company operates online and has 5 brick and mortar locations. Now that's an interesting, again, we learned something new here. Brick and mortar locations just means a traditional shop, a building, a store. But mostly this is an online fashion retail company. The company uses Instagram to gain earned media for its clothing by interacting with users and generating publicity. Okay, so again, very interesting. And here you can learn more about this. And here are general information about it. So this is what we do when we read something. We find out more about it. Okay? All right, let's move on to paragraph 2. The combination of followers, buzz, revenue, and that elusive cool factor comes together to create something we know as influence. Again, this is just saying when you have a fashion brand, you know, if you can have followers, people who like your brand and follow your news. Buzz means sort of when people are enthusiastic about something and people are talking about it. Revenue means the money that comes in. And that elusive means hard to get. Cool factor, you know, that your brand is cool. Again, that's elusive. It's hard to be cool, you know. Okay, so that together is what we mean by influence. Influence means you have the power to change the way those following you think and behave. Very strong thing. Okay, so influence is a very important area in all aspects of fashion and fashion marketing. Okay, paragraph 3. If influence seems insignificant, like a bubble that could burst at any moment, consider this. More than 1 billion people use YouTube, WeChat, Facebook, Instagram, and Reddit on a monthly basis. Okay, so he's saying here, if influence seems insignificant, maybe you think, this influence, surely that's not so important. Surely it will not last. And how can you really influence people you don't know directly? But the writer is saying, think about all the people using these social media every day. Think about all you guys on your WeChat for 12 hours a day. Okay, of course, influence is very important. Hundreds of millions log on to Snapchat, Twitter, and Weibo each month, okay? And 13 million monthly users visit Depop. As a group, they transmit 85 million monthly messages and follows. That's probably much higher now because this article was a couple of years ago. So again, all of these social media platforms are, you know, not so popular in China, some of these, okay? So again, we need to know, what are they? I think you all know Twitter and YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, but let's have a look at Snapchat, okay? Here again from simple.wikipedia.org. Snapchat is a photo sharing app. Using the app, people can take pictures, add a text or drawing, and send them to a list of contacts, okay? The service started September 2011. At first, it was intended to send selfies that would disappear quickly. So this was the idea. The things you send on Snapchat would disappear soon. Okay, so again, interesting. You can find out more about this. Depop, what about this? Depop is a peer-to-peer, you know, person-to-person social shopping app based in London with additional offices in Milan and New York City. Again, you can see more information here. Again, these are interesting things. If you are someone who is serious about working in the fashion industry in the future, these are the things you have to know what they are. So always find out. Okay, paragraph 4. But if the decade of influence has taught us netizens anything, it's that your success and influence can disappear just as quickly as you can go viral. Okay, so that's an interesting one. First of all, to go viral means, you know this, like viral comes from our word, which is very common at the moment, virus. You know, if something goes viral, it is like a virus going from person to person. It just means that something becomes enormously popular. All right, that's all over the internet, shared by many people. If your brand goes viral, that's really good news for you. But again, the writer is saying your success can disappear just as quickly as it can become very popular. This is the phenomenon of hashtag cancelled, which we will talk more about in a minute. So basically, what does that mean? Cancelled is sort of related to call out culture, also called cancel culture, a very controversial thing that happens in the moment. Basically, when you call out something, is you highlight some issue and you're saying that it is negative, it is bad, it is not acceptable. It could be someone's behavior, it could be anything at all, really. Call out culture, also referred to as outrage culture, is a form of public humiliation or shaming, okay? It aims to hold individuals and groups accountable for actions perceived to be offensive by others. Okay, so you can call attention to this, usually on social media. We will see some examples later, some famous examples from China. Again, you need to be aware of this. It's becoming very, very strong. It is already a very, very important phenomenon. Okay, so moving on, next section, who has the influence? Paragraph 1. When the 2010s began, the new guard of influential people in fashion were bloggers. Okay, it's just basically saying in the 2010s, the new guard just means the new group of people who were influential were called bloggers, you know, Boke. The most famous of these bloggers sat in the front row of Dolce & Gabbana's Spring 2010 show, signaling that a new generation of powerful fashion influencers was here to stay. So it's just saying in 2010, in the front row of the fashion show, you know, usually you would have the celebrities and the fashion business owners and the important people. But this was the first time where you see these influencers, these fashion bloggers, and this shows how important they were starting to become in 2010, and now they are super important. If your life is the material with which you express yourself online, few things remain as important as your outfits. So basically, this is just talking about people who spend a lot of time online. Okay, and so how do we express ourselves online? You know, in WeChat, in our moments, or in Instagram, or things like this. Very many of you will be sharing things that happen in your life, your food, your clothes, all of these things. And in this, for fashion people, few things remain as important as your outfits. Outfits just means clothes, the things you wear. So of course, these things are very, very important when you are sharing them with all of your friends and the people who follow you on social media. So in the early days of the decade, hashtag OOTD, which means outfit of the day, became one of Instagram's most popular hashtags. Hashtag is sort of this symbol here, hashtag shma shma shma. Okay, replacing the professionalism of a fashion magazine photo shoot with a casually taken fit pic. Okay, we'll explain a bit more what these things mean in a minute. Casually taken just means, you know, not so professional, just with your phone usually. To be a social media sensation, you only needed an internet connection and a compelling image. So it's basically saying to be a social media sensation. We all know many examples of this from China. Those guys who are very, very popular very suddenly with their own video blog or WeChat account. All you need was an internet connection and a compelling image. Compelling means super interesting, super able to grab people's attention, get eyeballs to watch. Okay, let's explain a little more of these things. Oh, sorry, not even a caption, not a hashtag, just you. And so the influencer was born. Okay, so again, social media is opening up the possibility of individual people becoming influential in the fashion world. So let's see examples here. Outfit of the day, what is that? An outfit of the day, commonly abbreviated OOTD, is where fashion bloggers show what clothes they wear on a particular day or occasion. These are often found on social media websites such as Tumblr, Instagram, and Pinterest, as well as on various videos on YouTube. Mostly used by younger female demographic, that means most popular among young females, top from Forever 21. Again, you can read more about it there. You also have things like outfits of the week. So again, this is interesting. What about FitPic? FitPic basically is like a photo, maybe on Instagram or other social media. What is the purpose of this? It's taken for the sole purpose of showcasing your outfit, often using strong color coordination for aesthetic purposes and also choosing locations sometimes. So here you can see some examples of fit pics. Here is the very famous American influencer and internet celebrity, Kim Kardashian. Obviously, the rise of this type of culture is very closely associated with her and her family. But again, I'm sure you guys all do this fit pic stuff yourself as well. So again, understand these terms and understand what they mean. Again, influencer, also called sometimes an internet celebrity. Okay, again, you can find out more here. It's a celebrity who has acquired or developed their fame and notability through the internet. So these people are sort of they're not famous really for anything in their life apart from their activity online, their social media presence. So the rise of social media has helped people increase their outreach. That means how many people you can reach to a global audience. And again, very important for us, internet celebrities can maybe be recruited by companies for influencer marketing to advertise products to their fans and followers on their platforms. This is all something that we're very familiar with in China in terms of people who are very popular on Douban and video sites. And we all know that they can get a lot of money to promote certain products. Okay, so again, understand these concepts, learn the words, learn what they mean. Okay, paragraph 3. This democratization of fashion goes both ways. If people can become brands, brands can become people, or at least behave like them online. Okay, democratization of fashion. That comes from the word democracy. So the democratization of fashion means that fashion becomes available to everyone with internet. It's not just for the few people at the top of the top fashion brands anymore. Now everyone can be very closely involved. So it's more democratic, means people can be involved. So if people can become brands, brands can become people. Okay, so how do brands behave like people online? A new crop of direct-to-consumer brands emerged in the 2010s that used the friendly tones of influencers as a means to success. Okay, what does that mean? We'll talk more about direct-to-consumer brands in a minute, but basically it means that these brands are selling directly on the internet to you. And the way they communicate with us is a bit like an influencer, a bit like an individual communicating with you. We'll see examples in a minute. Outdoor Voices, OV, is the flagship example founded in 2014 by Tyler Haney. Okay, flagship example just means the really representative example to show this phenomenon. Again, we'll see more about this company in a minute. Haney built her activewear brand on cheery colors, unfussy silhouettes, and the promise that a chill morning run could make you feel a little more joy. Okay, that's a bit hard to understand, but basically this woman built this Outdoors Voices brand. It's an activewear brand, which is another way to say sportswear brand. Cheery colors, that just means cheerful, happy colors. Unfussy silhouettes just means simple, clear, not complex. And the promise that a chill morning run could make you feel a little more joy. Again, it's just talking about the way the brand promotes active, healthy lifestyle. And we'll see a little bit more about that in a second, okay? She used her image to promote OV and created a catchy hashtag doing things, that is so wonderful that you can find yourself using it without even making the OV connection. So again, here, we're saying this, Tyler Haney used her image, her own image, to promote OV. And she used this hashtag on Instagram and other places. And again, this is you know, it almost seems like it's not related to the brand. It's related just to lifestyle. We're all hashtag doing things all the time, and nothing is more fun than sharing. Okay, here are some examples of that. Okay, direct to consumer, sometimes known as DTC, refers to selling products directly to consumers. That means bypassing, going around any third-party retailers. You know, so this is the way of the future for you guys. If you set up a fashion brand in the future, many of you are doing this already, selling directly to people on WeChat and so forth, okay? So DTC brands are usually sold online only and specialize in a specific product category. Again, these are all companies that you should look at: Casper, Warby Parker, Everlane, Harry's, Outdoor Voices, Away, and Dollar Shave Club, okay? So some of them open a limited number of physical retail spaces. In adjunct means in addition to their main e-commerce platforms. This is called a clicks and mortar business model. Again, very important. Clicks is clicking on the mouse, tien, you know, click on the mouse. Mortar means real building. So it's a combination between internet and a traditional shop business model. So again, you need to know these words and these ideas. Let's look at Outdoor Voices. Outdoor Voices, an American clothing company, 2013, founded in New York, designs and sells women's and men's athletic apparel. That just means sportswear. Okay, so again, we find out about that. What about this hashtag doing things? This is what the page looks like on Instagram. You see the way it's promoting these sort of active lifestyle type things. So you see the way that's giving an impression and influencing, and you don't really even realize that it's associated with the brand. But you know, there we go. So again, try to understand these ideas a bit more. Okay, paragraph 3 in that part. High fashion brands are on influence as well. On just means, you know, are very concerned with this and taking steps to try to increase their influence. Some creative directors have effectively become influencers themselves. Creative directors are usually that guy at the top of the big fashion companies, like in Chanel or in Louis Vuitton or any of those, okay? So Burberry's Riccardo Tisci with 2.2 million followers and Marc Jacobs with 1.3 million followers, they use their accounts to boost the popularity of their brands while simultaneously sharing tidbits of their private lives. So these are guys who are the creative directors of huge fashion companies. They use their social media accounts to boost the popularity, to increase the popularity of their brands. But at the same time, simultaneously, they are sharing little things from their own private lives. So we feel like they're our friends and we know them. And this is a strategy for increasing their influence. Let's look at examples there. So you can see Riccardo Tisci, again, you can see sharing some messages. Here's like a message from Nike about the virus at the moment. You know, combined with some of his fashion shoot things. So, and over here with Marc Jacobs, you can see different things here connected to the brand and so forth. So this, again, it's very important to see how successful figures in the fashion industry are using social media, and this can give you some ideas. Okay, paragraph 4. Of course, influencers can become creative directors too. So it's just saying some people can start off being very, very influential as influencers on the internet, and that can lead to them getting other work as well. A good example of this is Virgil Abloh is one such individual whose ability to speak directly to his 4.2 million followers was one of the reasons why he was chosen as artistic director of Louis Vuitton's menswear label. So Virgil Abloh, you know, before he got this job as artistic director of Louis Vuitton, was very influential online. I mean, he's a very, very creative and talented person, closely associated as well with Kanye West. But it's only one of the reasons, but it doesn't hurt if you have, you know, over 4 million people who follow your social media. That is, you know, a big thing when it comes for any company, you are able to reach 4 million people just by pressing a button on your phone. That's very interesting to think about. Ablo is not only a friend of all the other most influential people, IRL. I didn't know this. IRL means in real life. Okay, but he's also communicating with them and his fans online. Okay, so it's just showing how extremely influential people are now becoming people with lots of connections and lots of, internet connections and people who follow you. It leads to real opportunities in life as well. So this is Virgil Abloh. Again, you can see his Instagram page here. And again, get some idea of the things he shares and look at the number of followers. And again, it's a good thing for you to go and look at these pages and get an idea of how these people present themselves and how they use social media. All right. Okay, paragraph 5. The ability to connect directly to the source has changed the way we think about brands themselves. So connect directly to the source means that brands are able to connect directly with you. Before, a brand made a magazine advertisement, or they had a TV advertisement or something like that. So, and they don't know how effective those advertisements can be. But when they can connect directly to you using social media, that changes everything. Direct to consumer has become the buzzword of the decade at businesses which invite consumers to talk back, say what they like and what they don't, and share their lives with them. So direct to consumer, the buzzword just means the big, most important concept, an idea at the time. Obviously these businesses are inviting consumers to communicate with them. Remember before, if you watch a TV advertisement or a newspaper advertisement, that is one way. You have no way to respond. But now on social media, you can respond, you can share your ideas, you can thumbs up, thumbs down, zan, buzan, and you can really communicate. Brands want to become our friends, they want to be, to influence. Who are we influenced by? We're influenced by our friends, the people we love and respect. And brands almost want to become someone like this in your life in order to influence you, in order to encourage you to buy more of their products. So again, be aware of how this is working. Okay, going viral, paragraph 1. What impact has internet culture had on design? Okay, the internet obviously has had huge impacts on culture and the way people behave with each other and the way people communicate with each other. But how has this impacted on design? When Style.com launched 20 years ago, designers complained that the backs of garments weren't pictured, making a beautiful open back or draped detail almost irrelevant. So it's just staying here, this very popular website. We'll learn more about it in a minute. When this was the start of direct consumer on the internet, designers complained that they couldn't see the whole garment or blah, blah, blah. But now the rise of live streaming and video content has more or less erased that issue. But social media presents a whole new set of rules by which to judge clothing. So live streaming means just sort of live video. You can see something as it's happening. So for example, you could watch a live stream of London Fashion Week show or anything. So erased means we don't have this issue. We can see the design the same as somebody at the fashion show. But social media presents a whole new set of rules by which to judge clothing, how we can say what is good and what is not in clothing. Not only must something be wearable, now it must be shareable. Okay, let's explore a little bit more here. So Style.com was a luxury e-commerce website launched by Condé Nast, which is a big publishing media company, in September 2016. In June 2017, it was closed and absorbed by Farfetch.com. Okay, so you just get some ideas about that. Shareable, what does that mean? Shareable means something that is suitable for posting or reposting on a social media website or application. Again, we all know this thing, you know, those pictures that are really, really shareable, that get lots of zans. We love our zans. So that's basically what shareable means. Okay, hashtag cancelled, paragraph 1. All right, so let's see. The internet can seem vast and endless, but it's actually quite small, and small incidents can have big consequences for brands. Okay, so the internet can seem vast, very big, and endless, but it's really small, you know. Small incidents can have big consequences. Big consequences means the results can be very serious. Shoppers can boycott brands whose representatives say the wrong thing or make cultural mistakes. Boycott means, this has happened many times in China, to say, no, we will not buy this brand anymore. We don't like this brand anymore. We do not support this brand anymore. That's if people say the wrong thing or make cultural mistakes. China can ban Gigi Hadid and cancel Dolce & Gabbana because of social media-based mistakes and miscalculations, okay? So let's see some examples of what happened in these cases so we can understand a bit better, okay? This is about Gigi Hadid. She is a very famous supermodel. Let's see what happened from this news report.
Gigi's in hot water. Gigi Hadid has found herself in the middle of a heated internet debate after a video surfaced of her allegedly mocking Asian people. In the since deleted controversial clip, the supermodel is giggling and squinting while holding up a cookie that has a Buddha's face on it. The video was shared by Gigi's sister Bella Hadid and was picked up by a fan account for Gigi's boyfriend Zayn Malik. The user tweeted, "Gigi out here mocking Asian people. I would say she's canceled, but she never started." Another Twitter user wrote, "What she did was rude, ignorant, and wrong. You don't get a pass because people see you as a supermodel." Others defended the 21-year-old, including her mother Yolanda Hadid, who tweeted, "Only a toxic mind will perceive hugging a chocolate-laughing Buddha as racist."
Okay, so I mean, again, this gives you a good idea. I mean, again, I don't know if you think this is insulting Asian people. I think, you know, something that someone does in a little party without thinking. I don't think she was really trying to make fun of Asian people, but it is very serious for someone in her position. Let's look. I mean, because of that video, then she had to pull out of the Shanghai Victoria's Secret show. Chinese people are going crazy and saying, "Oh, we hate you, we hate you, we hate you, and you're not welcome in China." So look at that. Whether you agree or don't agree about what she did and whether it was very serious, you can see that incidents like this can have extremely serious consequences for brands and for people and can result in real problems. Now, a maybe more serious one is the Dolce & Gabbana one. Let's have a look at what happened in this case.
It was meant to be a tongue-in-cheek advertising campaign, a series of videos showing a Chinese model eating Italian foods like pizza and pasta with chopsticks.
Very small.
But it didn't take long before the brand behind it, Italian luxury house Dolce & Gabbana, faced accusations of racism. Within hours, the hashtag boycott Dolce was trending on Chinese social media site Weibo, with many users accusing the company of, quote, trivializing China's centuries-old culture. The backlash further intensified after screenshots of messages sent from co-founder Stefano Gabbana leaked on the platform.
Just if you can't read that there, he said, he's just sending messages. He says, and from now on, in all the interviews that I do international, I will say that the country of, they are like poo emojis, like shit, poo, 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 is China. And then he says, China, ignorant, dirty smelling mafia. So, you know, that was a private message to someone, but it leaked, which means people find out about it. And what happens?
They appear to show Gabbana referring to China with crude terms and emoji while defending the video campaign. Dolce & Gabbana has now apologized, saying its account and that of its co-founder were hacked.
We are very sorry for any distress caused by these unauthorized posts. We have nothing but respect for China and the people of China.
Amidst the backlash, the brand had to cancel a fashion show scheduled on Wednesday night. This after several models said they would not attend. It's not the first time Dolce & Gabbana has been accused of racism towards China. Last year, it published a campaign on Weibo depicting Beijing as an underdeveloped city. The post was later deleted after complaints from local officials.
Okay, so you can see for a major, huge company like this, an international brand, what someone says on social media or the way that they make their advertisements can have an enormous effect in today's world where social media is so important. So we can see here that there are real impacts here. So this from last year, 2019, you can see that Dolce & Gabbana's revenue, that means their income, grew around the world, but went way down in China and the Asia Pacific. So again, what they did in that advertisement and what came out about their bosses communicating about China lost them millions and millions and millions of dollars in money. So again, this is a good example to show how social media can have an enormous effect. Okay, hashtag cancel paragraph 2. Online groups like @DietPrada look closely at what fashion brands are doing and highlight misbehavior by fashion companies. Okay, we'll look at that in a bit more detail in a minute. Other smaller accounts like @InsideTheMood and @SupremeCopies compare old fashions from the past and new designs in order to highlight examples of both inspiration and plagiarism. So these are online websites and social media accounts that really look at some of the bad things that happen in fashion, like plagiarism. Fashion once was a very exclusive world with entire populations excluded from participation. So again, that just means fashion used to be just for some very important people at the top. And that, you know, most people just had nothing to do with it and had no connection with it. But now everyone can have their say on what a brand does and how it represents itself. And the last decade has proved that criticism of a brand can have an enormous impact in certain circumstances. Again, fairly easy. That means to have your say means you can say what you like, you can comment, you can add your ideas. And the last decade, so criticism of a brand, we've seen with the Gigi Hadid and the Dolce & Gabbana examples that, you know, saying the wrong thing on social media can lose millions of dollars. So again, that's very interesting. Let's find out a little bit more about this @DietPrada. So DietPrada, the Instagram account that airs the fashion industry's dirty laundry. In English, we say when you air the dirty laundry, that means you show the bad secrets about something. So see the part in red down here? DietPrada's methods are simple. Photographs of new designs are juxtaposed, that means compared, with images of older, all too similar work. So they're just showing how many of the designs in fashion are very, very similar to old works. So followers are invited to tsk, tsk. That means it's sort of like the opposite of Zan. It's sort of to say, oh, that's terrible, along in the comments, okay? Embarrassment ensues. That means the result is embarrassment. Sometimes designers issue clarifications, as Kim Kardashian did when DietPrada said that her children's wear line looked like Vetements and Comme des Garçons. So they showed Kim Kardashian's designs and highlighted how much they looked like designs from other companies. Kardashian said the designs were homages, not copies. Homage means, oh, I was not copying them, I was inspired by them, and I was showing my respect for them in my design. You know, okay, so that's interesting. On other occasions, products are pulled. So again, you see the way this social media account is actually having an impact on fashion companies and maybe discouraging them from using plagiarism in their work. Let's watch a video of the editor of Harper's Bazaar magazine talking about DietPrada. Might give us some more ideas about this. Harper's Bazaar Singapore editor.
Hello, it's Kenneth here. I just wanted to have a little chat with you guys and invite you to share your thoughts with me. Diet Prada, have you heard of it? It's like the voice of fashion right now that's calling out people if they're doing things that are sort of copycat fashion or fashion that's very influenced by other people. They're also an Instagram feed that gives you a lot of information, giving us knowledge in bite-sized, quick Instagram story style. They reference all sorts of things, which makes it really lighthearted, really funny, a little bit bitchy, but really kind of engaging. And all of us sort of can't wait to see what they're going to be talking about. And to have an Instagram feed not hampered by what clients want, but what advertisers want, and just doing something that's very real and authentic and talk about it freely. I mean, I love producing images like this and it's great, but I'm a fashion glossy and I represent what fashion glossies are all about, which is a perfect, polished, you could call it like the runway show. That's what I do. And Diet Prada is the exact opposite. It's that crazy melee that happens outside fashion shows. It's so interesting and exciting, very, very thought-provoking. And they bring that to an Instagram audience of a few 100,000 now. I mean, the following has like increased exponentially. It's driven by public because a lot of public actually feed Diet Prada with information and they say, this looks really, really influenced. And is it influence or is it a direct copycat? And Diet Prada being invisible, they say it as it is. And it's wonderful and we laugh and we engage with it. And we think it's really, really funny. I really love it when they do the compare and contrast. Fashion then, fashion now, fashion from this designer, fashion from the other designer. I'm not so crazy when they do things that are a little bit more political, thought-provoking in a more combative way. I'm not a fan of that because I'm all about promoting the industry, but of course promoting it for the right reasons. And it's good that they call out certain things. And I think that ability to question is fantastic in fashion because that's what all of us should be doing. What makes something beautiful or not beautiful? It's really up to you. If I think it's beautiful, that's my point of view. I love to share it with you, and that's exactly what I want to do today. I want to share my thoughts. I want to invite you to kind of let me know what you think.
Okay, that's enough of him. So you get the idea there about what Diet Prada is and what it's doing in the fashion industry. Now, so that's the end of the article. Again, here's a few follow-up activities that maybe you could think about doing. Of course, you should read the rest of the article to learn more about this issue. The website is there. You should be able to find it in your book. Again, you could try to summarize each paragraph's ideas, use your own words. This will really help your English as well. You could summarize what you learned about the different things mentioned in the article, which you did research on. You can discuss with your friends all of these issues and talk about what you think the most important influence of social media has been. You could talk about which impacts from social media you think are positive and which are negative. Okay. Again, the most important thing that I hope you can learn from this talk today is that reading is not just, very, very passive, oh, I must try to understand and learn the words from the article. But every article that you read is offering you the chance to learn more about very interesting things in fashion. You need to, when you see something like a company or a famous person and you don't know them, you need to go and research them. I mean, all of these things in the article today, I did not know. I did not know anything about any of this stuff, but I just found it very easily by just looking on Wikipedia, looking on YouTube, and you see how easy it is to learn more about a certain topic. So anyway, I hope this was useful for you today, and please let me know what you think, and thank you all very much for watching the lecture today. Thank you so much. Bye-bye now.